All right, so this will be the last video of just going over some of the core concepts. Like I said, where I think you guys are going to learn the most are from my breakdowns, not these first 5 videos. These first 5 videos are simply just going over concepts. Okay. I don't expect you to understand really any of this until after a month of studying and watching my breakdowns. Anyone who's trying to tell you that you can learn everything in 5 videos in a course is lying to you. All right. There's just no possible way you can learn everything about trading in 5 videos. That's just not possible, right? There's so much more out there that I could explain to you guys, and I'm going to, right, over the course of time, right? That's why it's very important to kind of just understand a simple gist of what's going on right now based off of session timings, structural highs and lows, and how they act as liquidity, the injections, and how you're able to find manipulation, right? Understanding just the basics of daily cycle, how to know the difference between minor, medium, major inducements, which we have gone over, special minute timings such as 3:30 a.m. and 9:30 a.m. Right, and we're gonna do like a little top-down breakdown and go over trades that could have occurred here, right, and just show you a brand new scenario, right? Because I could show you one scenario in each video, right, and it still wouldn't be enough, right? Like it's just got to be a constant flow of information coming your way, and as long as you're keeping up with it and you're back testing and studying what I'm constantly showing you, you will be successful. Um, let's do these 2 days. Let's do this day. I like the way this day looks, and I like the way this day looks. Let's first start off with this day, right? Since we kind of see what's going on here. Do the same thing. I'm going to do a top-down analysis now that we know how to draw our injections, right? We don't really need all this structure here. We don't need to start with daily structure. I'm going to start with my injection. Here we go, gray to gray as of right here, right? What is occurring? What do we know so far? We know we have entered phase 2 on the bottom, phase 2 on the top. Let's drag it over. Looks like we then entered phase 3. All right, so if we stop hunt right here, we should have a very powerful projection. One thing that I haven't introduced to you guys yet are liquidity trend lines. Liquidity trend lines occur on the daily and 4-hour, right? So here is a trend line. How do we draw it? We take the outer part of the injections and we just draw from the outer liquidity, right? This wouldn't be one. Why not? Because it's not right. It's just, I mean, it's sounds stupid, but it's not at the top of the injection like this one is. This one has not really made clear structure, so I can't draw it to anything. This one clearly connects to this one, so we can go ahead and make that its own entity. I generally make my trend lines dashed. This is where we are going to find stop hunts for the trend line for the move to continue, right? So we're either going to find stop hunts here, here, and here. Also, all those in video mentorship, I put in my trade ideas every single day before the session starts. All right, so you're going to know exactly where to look right before each session, right? As you can tell, those who are looking for POIs are those being trapped. The reason why they're getting trapped is because those POIs are all liquidity that's being swept. Let's hop into the 4-hour. Let's do the same thing we were doing before. I'm going to start off with my injections this time. I clearly see one forming right here, right? I'm going to make that purple, right? So we can theoretically react really anywhere here, right? I'm going to have that idea in the back of my head. We can also react anywhere here, right? Considering that we could stop hunt these highs, stop hunt these lows. Right, so we have that in the back of our head. Now that we understand our injection, we have another injection, right? We have an outer injection right here. So originally it was painted to be here, right? Because gray, black, black, gray, right? We made our injection. And then now, right, we stop hunted this injection to enter phase 2. Right, so we have an internal injection and this injection as well. Right, so we know where the market can manipulate and stop hunt. Let's put in our structure points. Let's kind of understand what's going on from a structural standpoint. Looks like I'm done with my injection, so I'm going to get rid of this indicator. Hopefully all of this repetition will help you understand how I am marking up my graphs. That is not one. This is one. Also, you guys have the ability to ask me as many questions as you like. So please do. I encourage it because it's very simple for me to explain things, right? However, they will go into more depth over time and time again. So here's all the external liquidity. I'm just going to mark everything up for you guys so it all becomes clear one day. SP1, SP2. Oh, that one didn't want to formulate. SP2, SP3. All right, so structural phase 1, structural phase 2, structural phase 3. And here we have structural phase 1, structural phase 2, and structural phase 3. And we can see that that last liquidity grab was very powerful right here, caused price to move down. What do we know so far? Well, originally from our injection, what do we know? Our daily injection was originally here, right? We had a stop hunt manipulation at the top. So daily, and it is bad weather out here right now. Here's our manipulation of the daily. All right, I'm going to go ahead and draw my box out to phase 2, but we know we had a stop hunt here. We also know we had a manipulative stop right here. Right, so we know our most recent stop hunt shows us there's bullish momentum in the market. We know we are looking for buys overall to where? Either here or here. Now I'm still going to be looking here for continuation buys. I'll still look here for continuation buys, but I know once we hit either here or here, I'm no longer looking to buy overall. As of right now, my bias is to buy overall. I'm not looking at structure. I'm simply just looking at liquidity sweeps. Where was liquidity grabbed last? Let's mark up our internal structure. My computer is freezing a bit. I apologize. All right, my fault. Let me go ahead and change this color as well. I want you guys to perhaps get used to the same color scheme I use. Don't need this, but this comes out to here. Structural phase 1, we move down here. Structural phase 2, structural phase 3. See how the injection and the structure are combining? That is a very powerful low. These are all inducements. All right, now that we're done with the 4 hour, let's move into the 1 hour. And clearly see what? The hourly making lower lows, lower highs. What was the OB that caused this break of structure? This one right here. That's why it tapped, mitigated. Right, we might see some selling occur before our overall buys. All right. Here we had a sweep, here we had a sweep, right? And then that means this becomes the outer liquidity, this becomes the outer liquidity, right? So we can draw this over, sweep, break structure, continuation. All right, this becomes a brand new hourly low as well, or inducement. And clearly see all the areas we need to sweep. Based off of the true inducements, right? These areas right here are where I mainly want to look. right? Because they're the higher time frames. Now we're going to get a little bit more introspective, go into the 15-minute. Let me put on session breaks. Put in my Asian liquidity now, 18-1. And I identify structure. See how we swept, right? Trend eventually came the other way. We now have what? This is a break of structure. What was the OB that caused that break of structure? That would be this one right here, right? That caused this break of structure. What else do we have? I see little minor inducements building up within the Asian session, right? See that we have originally right here swept. All wicks are OBs. Did it mitigate? Yep. Mitigation. Do we mitigate? Yep. Mitigation. Doesn't mean I think it's gonna pop here. No. I actually think it's more likely to take all that out. This is where all you SMC traders are looking. Order flow, you're like, oh, let me get in here. Nah, because look, there's all these inducements below. All these inducements below. I rather am only going to start looking once I break this. Once I break, or even this minor inducement right here. This minor inducement right here. This break of structure means nothing to me. Most people are like, oh, minor inducement, break of structure is the OB that caused the break of structure. Yes, but it's Asian liquidity, right? And look, we have an extreme right here that is also inducement. Pay attention to the inducements. I'm about to show you how you enter. Now, I've kind of slightly gone over it in the past. But here we're going to take a little bit more of a deeper look. What are we waiting for? We are going to wait for any of these sweeps to occur, right? These are where our main positions are going to happen based off of the algo. What happens? Price comes down. We're already breaking this minor inducement. What is the first thing we look for? As soon as we are touching this inducement, what are we looking for? What caused the break of structure? Let's look on a 10-minute, 15-minute. What caused that break of structure? Looks like this POI caused the break structure. We will be looking for cells within that POI. Doesn't look like it came to tap. We came to now break more structure right down here. Where was the POI that caused the break of structure? Right here. This POI caused the break of structure. Because this POI caused the break structure, if we simply come and tap into here, we should run. Here's that tap in the break of structure. Now I want to go over refined entries. Because yeah, probably like, oh, that's easy to do, just find the POI, but my SL is fat. Sure. Remember I told you wicks are also OBs. Whenever our OB, right, is higher than the breaker, right? Take your breaker, drag it over, like so. That could be an entry. Right here. You can have numerous entries here. 1.3 pips. First target, second target, 113, third target. Keep it simple. Now, a lot of you are like, what about the 1 minute? Right, you barely talked about the 1 minute. Well, in reality, I barely go on it. But I'm going to show you how to use the 1 minute too. In our POI, where was the liquidity buildup in our POI? Right here. I want to see it sweep that buildup. Look at our entry. Right here. As soon as we sweep that buildup, we enter right around here. Now, what's also important, let's bring up our indicator. Right, we want to know how to use this. Right? We see all this liquidity as inducement to this POI. We come up, we already are starting to melt. right? I just showed you that we've swept this liquidity here within the POI to get a better refinement. Let's see if we can use this. It really was confirmation in a way. How was this indicator confirmation? Well, we look for divergences. When price came to sweep this high, this price was higher than price here, but based on the divergence, we were going lower. So this is confirming my sells right here with an SL, something like so. I like to watch price on the 10-minute personally, or the 13 or the 15. All right. Most of the time, I'm really on the 15-minute. 10-minute is where I might go in to refine my 15-minute entry. But most of the time, I'm looking at the 15-minute, to be honest. Let's watch how price reacts. Our first target will be here at 1 to 8. We've broken. All right. Where was the price that broke this right here? What looks like this was the OB that caused the break. We could possibly re-enter here. Doesn't look like it wants to give us re-entries. However, we are still in our short positions. 2 here. Right? Price comes down more. We broke. Where was the POI that caused the break of structure? Right here. Let's see how price comes back into it. Remember I said we can refine our entry in the wicks. You guys are like, oh, that's probably fat. You forget that 10 minutes really not that big. Want to see how big my SL is? 2.2 pips. You complaining about a 2.3 pip SL? That's our refined entry, but we could simply enter just right here. I wouldn't. I'd wait for the refined entry, especially this far in the trend. That at that point comes to intuition. Here we tap, we run a bit, right? Now what has happened? And I'm sorry if y'all can hear the rain. If you won't mind, give me like 2 seconds just to shut my window, just so we don't hear the rain. All right. Sorry about that. Here's the first or another sweep of liquidity. Remember I said we need to wait for a bearish or bullish engulfing when this happens. Well, look here. This one's a little conflicting. Why is it a little conflicting? Well, we have bearish momentum here, right? A bearish OB saying that we need to sell. This is a continuation. However, we also have a bullish engulfing right here. Which one do we trust? At this point, we really don't know. In all honesty, so that's when it comes to looking at session timings. What time is it? 2:40, 2:50. Right, it's almost 3 a.m. It's almost London Open. Now, remember I said based off a daily cycle, if Frankfurt's taking price all the way down and London's about to open, London should take it back up. There's no reason why London shouldn't take it back up. Right? I'll take a risk here. I'll hedge this OB for the buy side if price comes back in. What I'll really, really like is my refinement. Remember I said based off if our OB, right, if the breaker is higher than this, we could theoretically look for this refinement. We look for it to break this low, right? And we can get maybe a really crazy entry right here, right? And keep our stops right below here. This is what I mean. I'm able to get 0.4, 0.5 SLs on the 10-minute, 15-minute chart because I understand price action. I'm not saying we might tap here. We may not. We may only get wick refinements, right? I will wait for the wick refinements. I don't want to wait for it just to simply tap in, right? Because I want to get my SL pretty good. Boom. Do you see how that happened? Do you see that? Why did that? I'm going to try and show you as many. See, it happened here too, right? Here's the breaker. We swept the breaker. Gone. We did the same thing here. Here's the breaker, right? Here's the low. We sweep in that low, 0.5 refinement. And now we need to aim for our next level of liquidity. Where's our next level of liquidity? We do not have our next level of liquidity till this point here. That is where we're aiming. That is TP1. What is TP1? So risk to reward, 1 to 71. I'm not sure if you can see that. Off of TP1. Now be patient. We are not going break even until we break the structure point. All right, what is going on here? Let me show you. We have another OB. Why? Yes, we have a bullish engulfing here. There's no questioning that. But it also took this candle right here to fully engulf the bears as a whole. Here was the OB that was created as a smart money trap. This is where people are looking to get back in. But in reality, we want to wait for price to come back to this OB, tap in, and run. Here's that tap in. We could theoretically now start getting more buys. So we have, I'm going to erase this here. We had sells coming in here. We had buys coming in, super refined entries, right? If you miss these buys, that's fine. We'll get it again, right? But now we got to keep up with current market structure. All right, here's this structure point low here. Here's this new structure point here. All right, I want to be eyeing this. And this. And to make it cleaner in our eyes, let's get rid of what we just traded. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of this. We don't need it. What else do we realize? We've just swept a 4-hour injection. If we swept a 4-hour injection, we should continue, right? We should keep going higher until we have a sweep of liquidity. Let's watch what price does. Get rid of this too. Right, these are now our new areas of looking. We can actually now start taking TP1 right here. This is where we're going to move break even. So we know where we went into sells, buys. All right, we're patient. We're not looking till we sweep. We swept. Okay, where was the OB that caused the break? This was the OB that caused the break. Doesn't look like it's needed, right? It needs to be an immediate touch. If it doesn't come back in right away, it's not useful anymore. Here we swept liquidity once again, right here. Asian highs, we even swept, I'm even seeing this. We swept this here too. And now we're in what? A bunch of imbalance. All right. What do we have? Bearish engulfing. All right, what do we have on the 15-minute? Bearish engulfing ever so slightly. I want to see it come and retest this OB. Very unlikely. Could happen. How could we enter on the 1 minute perhaps? Say we swept liquidity. How do we enter on the 1 minute? Let's bring up our indicator. All right, I want to wait for momentum to switch direction. All right, so I need to wait for the purple line to cross the black line. As soon as the purple line crosses the black line, I'm going to start looking for sells. From a 1 minute standpoint, I do not see an entry available yet. Let's keep looking. As of right now, this looks like a breaker. As soon as we tap into there, we may not get a position. You see how it took this? Now let's see if we're able to, what's going on in the 15-minute. Catch any more positions. What time is it? 9:30. Guess theoretically, the way you could have ping-ponged price, could have hopped in these buys if you truly wanted to. And these sells, perfectly valid. Now what do I see? A brand new sweep of liquidity right here. Let me go over something real quick. I wouldn't have taken these buys, even though they worked. I wouldn't have taken these sells either, even though they hit a sell. Why? Proximity. Remember I said if it's not happening right away, it's not going to happen. You see how we created our OB, price came in, went. We created our OB right here, price came in, went. Right? We created our OB, price deviated, we never came back to touch. Price created its OB, we broke, we never came back to touch. Right away, that is. Let's go back to the basics again. Let's look at structure now that New York is just opened. We created highs here, lows here. All right, so it looks like we had nothing going on till really now. Again, I'm hoping this makes sense. I know it can be a little confusing, but we're going to be doing a ton of these. Here we are with what? An evening star candlestick pattern, right? We can clearly see that bulls have came in. We have our OB, bears entered the market, right? So our whole OB in reality is this portion here. Why? Why is this our OB? We're probably like, Ben, why isn't it this right here? Because that's where the wick is. Well, price did not close below this low. Because of that, I have to refine to here, right? Because at least our close closed above the previous close. We clearly have a sweep of liquidity, right? So that means our target, we're going to be looking to sell here, take off partials around here at the next sweep of liquidity. We tap in. We tap in. We run. Right, now what? We swept liquidity. Do we have a breaker? Doesn't look like we have a breaker. So it doesn't look like we can look for buys. Looks like we'll remain short. Read the price action. Boom. Where's the breaker? Right here. We could theoretically look for continuations here. It didn't happen right away, right? Can you take this? Yes. Would I? Probably not. I wouldn't take it. Actually, what I would take would be this. Buys are still in our favor. We set the 4-hour injection. Looks like sells took over. And that's the end of the session, really. Hopefully you can see both sides. No, I don't win every trade. Yeah, I probably would have taken this. I liked it. We are overall buying. It looks like sells took over. Hopefully through this method, you can see both sides. You can see once we sweep liquidity, we develop a buy side and we develop a sell side. All right, it's all dependent on what works best for you. We could have argued that because this was our last sweep and based off of the daily cycle, these were our final highs that we need to come take out and sweep these lows back down here. But hopefully this is a good understanding of how I enter. Now remember, entries are very simple, right? 10-minute, 15-minute chart, right? We're simply looking for an engulfing like so, it to immediately come back in. Now remember, this was not immediate, this one I was okay with, right? We had a nice bullish engulfing of all this. Price came down, mitigated. I was fine to hop into buys here, right? Or you could have said, here's the breaker block that broke all this inducement here. We induced selling, right? So I'm actually okay with going into sells. Really depends on your perspective, but you can see none of it's random. It will react of one. You could have entered here as well as hedged at the same time here. You would have made it all the way back. Right? If we continue price, you have a sweep of what? More liquidity here. Right? Where's our bullish engulfing? Here. Price now continues. you'll see it's an ever repeating pattern happening over and over and over again, right? We just need a sweep of structure or sweep of an injection, and then we should continue. Now the buys take off. See what I mean? See how if we just remained in buys, I was okay with this. Why? Because I knew we were eventually going to keep buying. Now that we sweat this injection, we should go short. Our most probable position was where? Right here. Right? There's a reason why we had such a crazy refinement in 2 nice entries here that would have still kept going, because that was the only major inducement sweep. Right? I did kind of go a little introspective here, did some more risky positions, because that's kind of how you algo trade. But I really hope that this helped. All right, you guys now understand pretty much all the core concepts I use. As you can see, I don't use much, right? As time goes on with more breakdowns, you're going to see me using more Confluence. Can I add all of it into a course? No, it's you're going to have to learn it over time as I keep breaking down more stuff, because every day is a new day. Every day is a new lesson, right? We're going to find something brand new that we haven't seen before. A new daily cycle variant might come up. A new weekly cycle variant might come up, right? That's all part of being an adaptive trader, and that's exactly why I made this community. But yeah, I'm really trying to keep this simple for you guys. Right? I really want you to just identify these structure points, these injections, wait for them to get swept, and then enter based off of this criteria that I showed you. Right? Really back test with it. You're going to be getting so many videos throughout these next couple of weeks of me just breaking down every single day. Right? Those of you who've already seen my breakdowns have probably have a good understanding of all this already. If you're one of my one-on-one students and you're refreshing your memory, you know what I'm talking about. Right? Let's even come here. Look, show you another example. I know this is in hindsight, but let me show you. Major inducements, like I said, are orange, right? They're more probable. Let's take a look. Price comes down. We break. Where's our breaker? Where's our breaker block? Right? We broke first here. Where's our breaker block? Right here. Price does what? Comes in, taps in, gets knocked down, right? Where's our bullish engulfing? So we know what we're taking sells here. Where's our bullish engulfing? It's not till this is not a bullish engulfing. We didn't take over sellers. Where's our bullish engulfing? Doesn't have until here. Right? Take this, hop into buys. Boom. What? Did what? Swept liquidity. Right? All of you are looking for POIs back here. You shouldn't be. Everybody knows how to do that. Nobody knows how. You've never seen this, but no one just does this. That's why it works. Right? We sweep. Right? Where's the breaker block for the continuations? Right here. What happened before it though? Price came up, bearish engulfing. Right here, bearish engulfing. Right? As soon as we have that bearish engulfing, price does what? Taps right back in, pops in, shorts. This doesn't matter anymore. We know it's an hourly inducement. How do we know that this is not going to continue shorting all the way down to here? Well, let's look back out. We swept 4-hour inducement right here. We know our overall trend is going to continue buying, right? Which is why when we eventually came right back down to here, we need to continuously buy based off of the outer structure or the outer liquidity, external liquidity. Hopefully this will all click one day, but hopefully you can see, you can literally grab every single move in the market, right? This is algo structure, right? Combining the injections and combining these structure points. They're your best friend. I want you guys got to unlearn drawing in POIs, and you need to start to remember not to get FOMO. General POIs, general SMC is probably going to work, right? Like at times it will work. You will see a POI get tapped and you're going to be very upset you didn't take it. However, you're going to be more accurate. Your hit rate's going to be a lot better and you're going to be able to ping pong understanding these methods, right? Going on the 10, 15 minute waiting for that bearish engulfing to occur. You're going to see me over and over and over again hit these trades for you guys live, right? I'm going to put it in the VIP section constantly. I'm going to put it on my Instagram for you guys to constantly see. And hopefully over time, you guys will be consistent traders. I really hope these first 5 videos gave you a good introduction to what I do. Um, Throughout the video library, right, you're gonna consistently watch me trade and put down these breakdowns. I know I'm being redundant, but I really want to get in your head. Um, yeah, I hope this helps. I hope you guys enjoyed the content that I'm showing. I really hope that you learned something new. If you want extra help, please don't be afraid to DM me. Um, please send me your charts to make sure you're doing everything right. Like hopefully you can see from an outer to inner perspective how introspective this gets, right? From a external to internal standpoint, you can see all the markups, right, that's occurring here. It's not so simple, all right? This is not that easy. But you guys have all the main concepts down, right? So definitely back test with these. Love to see your back test and charts. So send my way. That being said, peace.